Greetings Midcoast Ukers, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new ukulele tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about tempo and the metronome. So most of you know that I'm a big advocate of practicing with a metronome. That's something I've been doing for years and something that most music teachers encourage their students to do. But I am encouraging each and every one of you, each member of Midcoast Ukes and anyone else who might happen upon this video to practice with a metronome. You heard a little clicking sound in the background there while I was playing a couple of chords, and that was a metronome. It's just a free online metronome. It's the first one that came up in my Google search when I typed in the search term online metronome, and they're absolutely free. You just go to the website, you click play, and you set the tempo for whatever you want, however many beats per minute, and you're off and running. You can do that on your phone, you can do that on a laptop, desktop, iPad, you name it, whatever you got. There's no excuse. And so those are free. You can physically buy a metronome, you can buy a TikTok metronome. I have two wooden ones from way back, wind-up kinds. I have an electric one, a Franz, that you plug in. And then I have on my phone a metronome app. I also on my desktop, have a metronome app. You can purchase these. You can buy them from different online app stores, and some of them are worth spending that $1.99 or whatever it is to download it for, because they go beyond what a free metronome can do. It's not just simply setting the tempo, but they have a special sound at the top of the bar, so you can really hear the downbeat. And then there are other metronomes that are more geared towards playing Latin music, Latin claves, and others that perhaps are better at subdividing the beat and having clicks on not just the number part of the beat, the 1, 2, 3, 4 part of the beat, but the ands and the 1E andas. And there's a lot of sophisticated metronomes out there. But I suggest you just, if you're new to this, or if you're resistant in practicing with a metronome, which a lot of people are, get yourself one of those free ones and just try it out. So that was 100 beats per minute that I was going at, and that's a fairly brisk tempo, in some cases, but it can actually be a moderate tempo in other cases. But 100 beats a minute is what you just heard. I had listened to that for quite a while before I turned on the camera and started playing, and that allowed me to kind of get that tempo into my body. So I was really feeling that 100 beats per minute, and I highly suggest you do that. Listen to your metronome, the key word being listen, and feel it for at least 2 measures before you start playing. If you were to just turn it on and start playing right away, you're not accustomed to it yet. You might race ahead, you might fall behind, you might get a little lost. And so it really takes intent, focused listening. You have to blot everything else out of your mind and just really zero in on those metronome clicks and try to get your body moving to it, whether it be tapping your foot, swaying your head back and forth, whatever you do to keep time. Super important. Cannot emphasize that enough. Many uke groups, including Midcoast Ukes, but others that I've worked with and have observed over the years, have a little bit of trouble sometimes, a little challenge with slowing down. We slow down. We don't keep the energy level of the music high. We don't keep our tempo steady. We don't play at the edge of the beat and give it that extra energy. We lag. We get lazy. We fall behind. Sometimes as much as 10, 15, 20, even 30 beats a minute. A leader of a uke group might start the song off real fast. They might start it as 1, 2, 3, 4. But by the end of the song, by 2 minutes into the song, 3 minutes towards the end, it's more like, for some reason, we just, as groups of, especially older musicians, younger musicians do tend to be a little hyper, and they have, kind of a problem with speeding up, as I've observed working with younger musicians. But older musicians do tend to slow down, and so we have to be careful about that. We really want to stay on top of that beat. So here I'm going to put that metronome back on at 100 beats a minute. You can hear it going click, 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 click. First, just get your body in tune with that. Get your metabolism rate kind of in accord with that beat right there. Don't even play a sound. Don't make a sound. Just listen. And then when you feel like you're kind of in tune with that metronome, and you're feeling that 100 beats a minute, then proceed to do it. I'm going to show you the chords that I was doing. That was a song by Albert Hammond Jr. way back in the day called It Never Rains in Southern California. One of those goofy 70s pop songs that I grew up with and have nostalgia for. But it's D minor, G7, C major 7, A minor. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, C for 2, C major 7 for 2, and A minor for 4. Pretty easy little progression. So let's do that progression. Again, D minor, G7, or G if you prefer, C, C major 7, A minor. Let's do that with our 100 beats per minute here. Let's practice it together. You feel that beat? We're not going to stray from that. We're not going to go faster. We're not going to go slower. We're going to stick to that beat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Have it. So a little tip about the metronome. It helps to have it at a high enough volume so that your ukulele strumming does not drown it out. You have to be able to hear it. So I suggest if you're listening through a computer speaker or a smartphone speaker, crank that sucker up. Make it loud so you can really hear it. Maybe play a little softer so that you can clearly hear the metronome. If the metronome's not loud enough, you'll get lost, I guarantee it. Got to have adequate volume. It even might help to invest in a Bluetooth speaker, which I have. I don't have it on right now. My computer speaker is pretty loud, but if it weren't loud enough, if I had other musicians here playing with me, I would use that Bluetooth speaker to increase the volume. So that's an important tip. Make your metronome loud. If it's one of the old-fashioned tick-tock kind, those are okay. You just got to have it real close to you so you can hear it. Don't have it across the room. And then the other thing is that when you're finely tuned to that metronome and you're really playing on top of the beat, you drown the metronome out in the sense that you're covering up the clicks. Your quarter note strums, and I was doing mostly quarter note strums there, maybe a couple of eighth notes, a couple of ups thrown in there. Yeah, I think I did 1, 2, 3, and 4. But your 1, 2, 3, 4, the down strums, should be so on top of the metronome click that you barely hear the metronome click. It's loud and you're hearing it, but you're almost like covering it up with your strums. So if you find you're strumming in between the clicks, you're not doing it right. In that case, and that's very common for novices, people who are new at practicing with metronomes. Extremely common. I see it all the time in my teaching. But everyone eventually gets used to it. And my suggestion there would be make it a slower tempo. If that 100 beats a minute was leaving you in the dust, crank it on down. I mean, metronomes are adjustable, even this free online one that just came up in Google. So I'm going to crank that on down to like, here's 88 beats a minute. Let's see if that's better for those of us who maybe got left in the dust with 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. We listen to it for a while. Let our body settle down into 88 beats a minute. Take a deep breath and relax. Don't get all uptight about it. I know a lot of you hate metronomes. You'll do anything to avoid practicing with them, but that's why I'm making this video, to kind of change your mind about all this. Alright, here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. So that slow tempo might be a little more relaxed, not so frantic. play around, get a little more adventurous with your strumming, add a couple of chucks in there if you want, a couple more up strums. You can even start finger picking if you want, but once you get settled down with the metronome, you can have fun. You can be free. Metronomes are not restricting and constricting and a drag. They can actually free us up once you have a steady tempo going. And those are the two key words I want you to walk away with today, are steady tempo. Sometimes you gotta adjust a little. While I was talking, I noticed I sped up a little. So I slowed back down, but I tried to do so imperceptibly, so that the average person didn't notice a speed up or a slow down. You just gotta lock in. That's what I call it, locking in to the beat. One last time. There you have it. So that is a very quick crash course on practicing with the metronome. I highly suggest it. You got to do it. If you don't, you're going to suffer. Your tempos will forever flag, and your participation in a ukulele group will always be that you're dragging the group back. And I know, sometimes ukulele groups have a mix of levels. Some people have been playing for years. Some people are very experienced with performing. Other people are kind of new at it. They're just getting their legs, and that's okay. But if you're a good uke player, solid uke player, confident, and you're sitting next to somebody whose tempo is dragging, that is a drag. Because then you're relying on your own sense of where the tempo should be, and as a leader I've experienced this, and then the person next to you is like playing way slower, and that drags you down, and then the group is relying on you as the timekeeper, and that drags the group down. And so each member is responsible for keeping up that beat. I don't care if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate, if you're advanced, if you're Jake Shimabukuro, doesn't matter where your level is. A good sense of rhythm and a good sense of time is one of the most important musicianship skills in the whole world, even as important as having a good sense of pitch. All right, Midcoast Ukes, hope you enjoyed that, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.